Storytime! A little ditty from Plato. This is Way of the Master Radio, and we are going to...
stuff? You know, that you build and...
No, that's Play-Doh. You mean that dog that hung around with Mickey Mouse?
No, that's Pluto.
Sorry, no, this is a story from Plato, the philosopher, taking this from a book called The Christians, Their First 2,000 Years. It was the Greek philosopher Plato who, in his foundational work on human government, The Republic, who posed a hypothetical question. Suppose he said that a perfectly just man came into the world. He must not merely seem just, but be just. However, it's important that he not be viewed as just. If he were, he would be honored and rewarded, and then we shall not know whether he is just for the sake of justice or for the sake of honors and rewards, so we wouldn't know what his motivation was. Now, therefore, let him be clothed in justice only. Please keep in mind, this was written hundreds of years before Jesus. Therefore, let him be clothed in justice only and have no other covering. Let him be the best of men, and let him be thought the worst. Then he will not been put to the proof, and we shall see whether we will be affected by the fear of infamy, and let him continue thus to the hour of his death, being just and seeming unjust. Ooh, now, this is an interesting little tension that Plato sets up. Let's just imagine, he said 400 years before Jesus got here, that there was a man who was indeed just to the core. Nothing that motivated him wrongly. He was just plain just. So, along comes Jesus, and he's perfectly just. Now, Plato goes on to ask, what would happen to such a fellow? Have I mentioned this was 4 centuries before Jesus got here? What would the fate of such a person be? Quote, he will be scourged, racked, bound. He will have his eyes burned out. And at last, after suffering every kind of evil, he will be impaled. Plato saw the inevitable fate of perfection in our imperfect world. Whether a perfectly just man that met his fate in Athens in the 5th century B.C., or in Jerusalem in the 1st century A.D., or in New York City in the 21st century A.D., the outcome, torture and death. Why? Human nature. We hate God. We hate what is just and right and good. Because we're so evil. Plato got that. Most people can't. Not that he got saved.